Her scream nearly blew out Junpei's eardrums. He and Seven ran toward Clover to see what had frightened her. Around the screen, the cause of her outburst was immediately clear. What is this? Is this a corpse? It's like a party of corpses? No, there's only one corpse. It was something that looked kind of like a human, lying across some sort of bed. No, not a bed, an operating table. The table sat on a rusty steel lift, and a cluster of bright operating lights shone down on it from the ceiling. Slowly, they approached. No, it's just a mannequin or whatever. As it got closer to the body, it became clear that it wasn't a body at all. It's just a huge doll or something. Doll? Clover did not look terribly comforted. Slowly, she approached the operating table and looked, as intently as possible, from as far away as possible, at the thing. Junpei could see her relax. You're right, it's only a doll. Man, it really scared me. She heaved a great sigh of relief and wiped a few drops of sweat from her forehead. Seven smirked. Well, I guess it would have been weird if you actually had any balls. Shut it. Don't you start with me, fatty. Oh, what's this? You want a piece of me short stuff? Bring it on, you whale. Apparently they don't get along. Guys, not again, okay? Seriously, knock it off. Dealing with kindergartners. Junpei sighed and shook his head. Anyway, it looks like he's got something the two of you could stand to have a little more of. I'm talking about a heart. Oh, this? You mean on his chest? Yeah. It was set a little higher than normal for a body. But from the shape of the organ, there could be no doubt it was a heart. Why would there be a heart in a doll? I don't think it's a doll. I think maybe it's like a medical mannequin or something. Or maybe it's got more personal uses. You're a creep as well. Seven's grin was more than a little perverted. Clover glared at him. Anyway, how about we take a look around this place? See, his face is just weird. Okay, sure thing. Alright. Start with you. Hey, I wonder what this thing is. It says kg on the display. Maybe that's a scale, it's like a kilogram? Oh, there's some sort of lid on this thing. Why don't you try opening it? Can't, there's no handle. I can't get under with my nails either. Mannequin! These dolls are really kinda creepy, you know? Hey, it says something on here. John. Think that's this doll's name? Maybe? This thing is creepy. I wonder why it's on the bed. Like you said, personal uses. White cloth. Nothing special. You're shiny? Kosher forceps. Kosher. I don't know. Bunch of surgical tools. That's it? That thing looks suspicious. Fine. You! Oh! Another medical mannequin? From the looks of it, this one's a chick. She has a name too, Lucy. I expected Jane. Poor thing. Looks like Miss Lucy only has a head and a left arm. Maybe we're supposed to gather all her parts. There's some kind of device attached to the bed. It says kg on the panel. Is this a scale? Why did she cover it back up? What's this thing? It's got these short iron legs. Maybe it's a heater. There's nothing inside it. Cool. Big chest. Doesn't really look like a chest. Hey Lucy, I got your chest right here. This bed doesn't look very comfortable. I got your chest. Maybe something will happen if we gather all our body parts. Place the chest on the... Oh, okay. It doesn't want the chest. Maybe you're supposed to heat something on that. Like that gauze to kill the bacteria. There's a boiling thingy over there. There's nothing on the lid or on the drawer, in the drawers. Okay. Nothing. There's a lot of different kinds of medication. It's hard to tell them apart. Oh, hello. Medical mannequin. Its guts showing. Ew. Gross. Hey, Junpei. There's a slit in this thing's chest. Yeah, sure is. There's something in there. Maybe we can get it out. Yeah. Stinking thing won't budge. It's stuck. Well, I guess you can't use force on this one then. We need something small that can fit into that little hole. This? Yes, I got the fake organ. Take that one too? No. That's it. The organs is missing. The organ is... Organ? Really, Clover? I expected more from you. Oh, like you could do better. I like that. Do more, Clover. Do more. Hey. Scalpel. Can we cut the organ open? Let's do it. Let's try cutting this organ with the scalpel. Oh, it's key. Cool. Oh. Oh. Cool, it's unlocked. Yeah, let's see if, clipboard, piece of paper, what's this? Is this some kind of medical record? Take it. I don't care. Let's check out the file. I'm not reading that medical record. Oh god. So Lucy is a little bit heavier than John. I'll make no jokes. I don't understand. You. Beaker. Found a beaker. I found a beaker. Oh, whoa. Glow? The white line on the top is glowing. Yeah, but the red, blue, and purple ones aren't. They still aren't lit. What are you doing? Don't you want to get out of here? But I'm tired. I sympathize with you. Sink. Doctors and nurses probably wash their hands here before an operation. Nothing suspicious here. Bull. Everything suspicious here. All this. Won't open. Looks like it's locked. There's a red plate on it. You think that means something? Blue. It's not opening. Locked, of course. Blue plate on here seems a little suspicious, though. Nothing? Okay. It's not opening. Won't even budge. It's got this purple plate on it, too. I like the purple plates, so we only have these two. Door. Door. It's locked. Won't even budge. Do you think this is the exit? Doubtful. Doesn't have a thing on it. No? What about you? What's this? A light switch? Doesn't seem to be working. Is there anything else with this? A cabinet with a drawer in it. Or anything else in the drawer? Nothing left in the drawer. I was wrong. I'm gonna speed this part up a bit. Just oh, hi. Okay. There's a note on top of the table. Iron 1, salt 2, water 3, carbon dioxide blank, ammonia blank, ethanol blank. What do you think this is a hint for? Maybe it's got something to do with this box. Box! This thing won't open. Is it locked? Probably need to put in passcode. Geez, they've even got a keypad on there. How much more obvious can you get? I can only enter 3 numbers. E is for enter and C is for clear. Once you input the number, press E. If you mess up, press C. Let's give it a shot. I don't know anything. So let's back out. What's you? Blue liquid. Red liquid. It's blood. What's this? Something stinks. Is it coming from this bottle? It says NH3. That's ammonia. Ammonia's NH3. Okay. Right. Oh, good stuff. Let's go for a drink. What are you talking about? I'm talking about that bottle. It says C2H5OH, right? It's ethanol. That's right. It's also known as ethyl alcohol. It's pretty much what booze is made of. So you're gonna drink it. Yeah, I won't. I might say that that's what it is on the label. There could be anything in there. Something about ethanol. What's this? Looks like a can with a spray nozzle. It says CO2. So it's can filled with carbon dioxide. Well, that's obviously clues. I think if I use my brain, somewhat I can figure this out. All the clues I've been given. Much faster if I just do it. Okay. As it says right here, a note with a hint on it. Don't need you anymore. It says something about iron 1, salt 2, water 3. Pretty sure do a bunch of stuff. Okay. CO2. Okay. You think we should go back? Yeah, I think that's probably best. Clover nodded and laughed. Junpei was about to follow her when he realized Seven wasn't following suit. He's drinking the ethanol. Hey Seven, what's up? Oh well. He looked up at Junpei distractedly, and then back down at the brown bottle he held cupped in his large hands. I knew it. In response, Seven tossed the bottle gently to Junpei. He caught and twisted around to read the label. Ethylene diamine tartrate. EDT, it's tartaric ethylenediamine. Ethylenediamine. What kind of medicine is that? It's not medicine. I think it's an industrial strength detergent. Why would they have something like that here? Well, probably to clean stuff up. Clean what up? I don't know. Still. Looks like it's cleaned my brain up. You drank it. Oh, you remember something. Seven nodded and slowly spoke. Well, I remember a story about EDT. It happened about 50 years ago. There was this factory somewhere in America making big old EDT crystals. They were making it to sell as industrial strength cleaner like I told you before. But a year after the factory started up, something strange started happening with the crystals they were building. Water molecules started attaching themselves to EDT crystals. This made them into some sort of mutation of the original crystals, called a hydrate. Once the crystal turns into a hydrate, though, it's useless as a cleaner. The factory had to just dump the crystals as a hydrate. They were useless. But it didn't end there. After that day, the same thing started happening in EDT factories everywhere, even ones nowhere near the first American factory. They've been making crystals the same way, with the same materials and the same equipment and environment. But now, all of a sudden, every single crystal they form turned into a hydrate. Sounds a little bit like Ice 9. The story that we heard about Ice 9. In fact, ever since that day, no factory anywhere has been able to make a pure EDT crystal. Even in EDT research done years before, they'd never gotten a hydrate. But after it happened at the first factory, it just spread. It was like, man, how do you say it? Like the molecules were communicating with one another, transmitting information in a way humans couldn't perceive. This phenomena spread throughout the world, right? Junpei looked up at Seven with a half smirk. Seven stared at him dumbfounded. How did you know? Yeah, that's it exactly, but how did you know? I heard another story kinda like that one. When? In the freezer? What, the freezer? Junpei told Seven that it's actually like a club that we went to before this all happened. It's a club for smart people. Junpei told Seven the story here he'd heard from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day glycerin began to crystallize, and the story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absent-mindedly rubbed the scar on his chin. Ice that doesn't melt at room temperature, huh? That sounds familiar. Yeah, hold up. I feel I can remember something. It's right there. Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space as if he were trying desperately to focus on something far away. Do you? Bro, do you know about Ice 9? Ice 9. Ice 9. Ice 9. Ice, 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 baby. Ice, 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 baby. Suddenly, Seven's eyes shot open. That's it. I remember now. That woman. She's on this boat. That woman? Alice. Who's Alice? I know who Alice is. But you don't. Come on. The woman who won't melt at room temperature. What? It became clear to Seven that Junpei had no idea what he was talking about. He ran his hand across his face and took a deep breath. You know how the Titanic sank on April 15th, 1912, right? Yeah. More than 1,500 people died. Worst maritime accident in history. What about it? Did you hear about the boat that was sent to collect the dead bodies? I think that was the RMS Carpathia, right? It was a cruise liner, just like the Titanic. No. That was the ship that picked up the survivors. The ship that collected the dead bodies was the CS Mackay Bennett. The Mackay Bennett showed up on April 17th, 2 days after the accident. It set up from the Halifax, a port in Canada, and recovered 306 bodies. The Atlantic that far north was really cold. It would have to be, for there to be icebergs and stuff. Anyway, the bodies they pulled out of the water were frozen solid. This isn't a very nice story. So what happened next? Well, they say the Mackay Bennett recovered something more than just dead bodies. There were various bits of stuff floating around in the water. Things the drowned had carried with them, or stuff dislodged as the ship sank. One of the things they found was a coffin. A coffin? Yeah, a wooden one. The craftsman who made it must have been pretty skilled. It wasn't just a wooden coffin, it was all wood. There were no nails or reinforcements, and there were no gaps in the wood anywhere. It was airtight. The crew got pretty curious about what might be inside it, and opened it up. They had to get a wedge and hammer it open. It was so well made. Inside, they found a woman. Or I guess you should say, they found the dead body of a woman. It's like Amon-Ra. Her hair was thick and black, and her skin was deep brown and didn't show any signs of age or decomposition. They say that she looked gorgeous, like a goddess. She was obviously dead, but everyone who looked at her said she just looked like she was sleeping. Her skin was so lifelike. She looked like she might wake up at any minute. She didn't, though. Like the rest of the bodies they found, she was frozen solid. Eventually, the Mackay Bennett finished the search and returned to Halifax. The 306 bodies were unloaded and taken ashore. However, it was warm enough that they began to melt. They say that the stink was horrible. But there was one body that didn't thaw. The girl in the coffin. That's right. Everybody thought for sure that she'd melt and start to rot like the rest of them eventually. But weeks passed and nothing happened. Then a month had passed, and another. It was summer and she was still frozen solid. After a while, people started to say she was some sort of miracle. Rumors about the girl started to spread and people came to visit Halifax from all over. After a while, people started to call her All Ice. Alice. Of course, those rumors didn't last long. Why? Well, she up and disappeared. One day Alice was there, the next day she wasn't. They say someone snuck into where they were keeping her and stole the body. With the body gone, the rumors followed pretty quickly, and after a while no one remembered her. You might be able to find something about her if you could find a newspaper from back then, but that's about it. Wait, you just said that she was on this boat. Yeah, I did. Alice gotta be somewhere on the ship. And why would you say something like that? 'Cause I know. And just what is it you know? What happened to Alice after she was stolen? Junpei gulped. Gulp? Alright. Tell me. I'm ready. What happened to Alice? Seven nodded slowly and took on the look of a man recalling something long buried. Well, around that time, the word was that there was a thriving black market in New York. I mean, I'm sure there still is, but this was special. All millionaires from all over the world. I've even heard that Alice went up for auction there. The person who won the auction was Lord Dashiell Gordain. Yes, I have. Sir Gordain, Isn't he the guy who bought the Gigantic, the Titanic's sister ship? Yeah, that's him. Although, I guess he hadn't done that yet. What do you mean? Bourdain bought Alice in 1912. Then 4 years later, in 1916, he bought the Gigantic. And he hid Alice somewhere on the Gigantic. But nobody knows where. He died in 1931. And apparently he died without ever telling anyone where Alice was hidden. However, what? Well, he did have one close friend who asked him, "Where is Alice?" And he said, "Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge, beneath the navel of the Gigantic." What is that? Some kind of riddle? Your guess is as good as mine. Seven threw his hands in defeat. So that's it. Whatever you think, I believe it. She's hidden somewhere on the Gigantic. In other words, she's hidden somewhere on this ship. Before Junpei could dispute Seven's rather bizarre claim, he heard Clover's voice from the door. She did not sound pleased. "Hey, what are you two doing over there? Stop wasting time, get over here." Okay, we're coming." Ugh! Seven looked at Junpei. "Yeah, so anyway, that's the story. Might be useful someday. Don't forget it." With that cryptic remark, he turned and left the room. Junpei was left behind to ponder what he'd just heard. He tried to remember what June had told him earlier. That mummy wasn't just a normal mummy. They say she was frozen. The story says that from time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic, and even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted. Was that Egyptian priestess Alice? Had the water in her body become Ice 9? No, that's nuts. There's no way somebody like that could exist. Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to clear it, and followed Seven to the operating room where Clover was waiting.